Started, if you're ready. Everybody, I'd like to introduce you to a co-author of mine, but more importantly, a preeminent scholar, Dr. Raj Srivastava. I'm not going to attempt to even introduce the topic. I'm going to leave that all up to you. And thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Tony. Yes, I have not met him before this visit, but we are co-authors. It so happens that we need his expertise, and I think it did make a difference. The paper is almost on the final phase. 95%, I would say, accepted, 5% with the associate editor. So kind of interesting. As you can see, my background is strange. I've been to quantum physics, theoretical work. I did my degree at Oregon State, and then went on to do postdoctoral work 1 year at Oregon State. Then I was in Canada 6 years, postdocing, senior inspector. It was a dead-end job, but I was happy. Publishing my paper on the weekend and the night and day, work on my research. At the daytime, I teach 18 hours a week at lab. So it was fine. Family was happy. I had an hour and a week. But then I met all these professors in business school. A lot of them with engineering background from India. They were looking for economic faculty. They couldn't find anybody. The market was so hot that nobody even will come to their booth to talk to for opportunity. So one guy became a very good friend. And on the weekends, when we meet, the only topic of discussion will be that if I just went and got the coursework, they will offer me a faculty position with twice as much money I was making. Still didn't interest me. It went on for 3 years. Finally, we were very close on that how I can get a faculty position. But then something else happened, like so and so from so and so school, still so and so get the chance. So finally, I said, give me a book. So he gave me a book. I did the patients to read all the way. I felt like I would try. Jumping, if I swim, fine. If I sink, fine. A lot of the schools admitted me, except Oklahoma was willing to take risk. They said, we need financial support. But the top schools like Cornell and North Carolina, you come first year on your own. You are admitted. There's no GRE, no GMAT, nothing. But depending on how you perform, will finance is the same. Well, I have no choice, but I need a financial support. So I went to Oklahoma. 3 years later, I finished my degree. Then the question of where to go. My friends wanted me to come to New Brunswick in Canada. I said I was very hard with 3 years. I don't want to come like that. I think I'll go to a place where I have to work. Kansas was the one that I was advised that good place to start, but no expected anyway. I think it was a right decision, lucky decision. I got to work with very world-class mind and work. Textual Schaefer was my colleague. He did some work on uncertainty management. He wrote a book on theory of evidence, and I saw the value in knowledge judgment. So all my work of 50-60 papers basically on that, which is a broader framework than poverty theory. So I know mostly for that. But in 95, when I became also a professor and director of research center, I thought, why not we develop some technology? So we developed a technology that really gets data from SEC side, processes, and series, Excel data, and all that. A lot of people were working on it. If I thought about the whole one project, I think it's can. Very close to what we're doing. But we started late, I think in 96. And they had started earlier, I think early 90s. Way ahead. Spent millions of dollars. High-powered people were working on that. PhD in AI from MIT. But somehow, since we started late, we had much bigger background on the technology working. So it was pretty successful. And some of my colleagues started asking, well, can you give us all the companies that have this instrument in the footnote or MD and here and there? So we were tweaking and getting the results. Then somebody mentioned, why do we have to come to you? Why not we develop a system where we put it in the system and get it? That is where the technology that I will probably show you a glance at it evolved. And then the technology was to get the financial information, non-financial information into search engine and then the data. Here, by the way, is really ahead in this technology. I don't know if you know, Google Earth was created by one of our students at Google. So when the university saw what I was doing, they made me meet the professor in electrical engineering who was the world leader in this field, supervised and worked on the project. And it was really good technology, but it was competing with a lot of other things. One is Lexington, quarterly program, then we have campus that 4 minutes. But we were not worried about that. We were just doing research. So around 2012, I took a separate from the school and developed it further. So we were doing tools like creating textual analysis tools in the system. We have currently 36 million documents, update every day. Yesterday filing is renewed today. So we kept introducing all these different ideas, textual analysis. So that's what I want to talk about. Then the cosine method I came across, which is actually the technology, how to determine whether two documents are similar or different, how different it is. That's cosine. I'll talk about it if you have no background on cosine or sine. It has been already something. Then after we implemented it, I had some problem with that metric. And bugged me about it for a couple of months. And then finally I found a solution. I tested it, validated it, and see that two technology is much better than cosine method. And so I thought, well, what do I do? I have to paper them to at least get the reaction of peers, possibly just incorporate the technology and forget about it. I felt that now being a handmade, I wanted to get some reaction. I think it was good because with the feedback, the paper got improved and got more interesting. And so that's the most one we have that finally got accepted in our section journal or Weatherhead. Nicholas, I think some of you may know, I presented last year at the conference. And everybody was excited, but there were some skeptics too. I'll share all that today. So let me just give you a broad background. I will address the last question anytime. So this textual analysis has not been my main area of research, but it became because of a lot of the technology used by students. And then I questioned some of these things that is that the way to do it that kind of better. So this is just one area where I focus on cosine method versus something else. But there are some other questions that I have in the textual analysis that maybe worth investigating. So when I stand here for the camera, it doesn't matter.
Well, I think they can see you better from there.
Okay. So I can be standing here, although I like to walk around. So textual analysis, that is what I will talk about. And then analytical geometry, how it plays in textual analysis, I will talk about it. Risk assessment models, textual analysis. And I will briefly show you some glimpse of the technology, including the questions. So textual analysis, what it is, well, it started with simple just counting of words, of sentences. And so people have done studies in terms of how complex a document is. If too many words are there, of course, too many sentences are there, that's complex. Sentences itself is too complex. Means 10 words versus 20 words in a sentence, that's more complex to comprehend. So there are different kinds of metrics that people have used as a measure of complexity of the document. Then formal models have been developed too. And it was interesting because I was curious in terms of seeing where did it start? Department of Defense wanted instruction manual for this machine, warfare, in a warfare situation. How simple it could be for operators to read and understand the operation and manage the machine. So people develop regression models in terms of the number of words per sentence, number of complex words, and then develop a model. So that is what the readability in this case means. Different metrics are there that measures, and some of them are scaled to grade level. If the score is 6, that means 6th level reading skill is enough to understand. If it is 16, means you need 16 years of education, college education to understand. And I have had opportunity, to read some of those documents, especially in XBRL documents. I don't know how many of you know XBRL, but XBRL is a XML-based technology where you tag every business, relevant word and publish the document in that form. So Ernst & Young contacted me as I was getting the center. They said, we'll give you some summer support. Why not you write an educational material for XBRL to be taught in a undergraduate course? So first I have to understand. I read these manuals about XBRL written by computer science. It took some effort. One time, second time, third time, very intense language. And so it makes sense to have some kind of readability in it. So that's one. Then I'll talk about the similarity matrix cosine versus the one I proposed. Tone documents, there's a lot of work being done tone. Positive tone, negative tone. What is the distribution of that? That's interesting, because if there's a negative news having used, how does the management disclose that? Is it one shot or distribute all over? So positive news versus negative. Positive, maybe they want to remind you again and again. So they may spread throughout the whole document. There are a lot of studies on that. And we provide that also through our technology. And then word variation. How words vary from year to year. I have not seen much publication, but we have the technology. You can have next to each other 10 years of word distribution. And I'll show an example for them. If somebody is trying to hide things, they can use certain words and hide them. And so you can see that also. Of course, then financial risk models, risk in general, financial risk mitigation risk, these are already well tested and published in top journals. Like one paper that I have used by Campbell, Dhaliwal, and some others. And it's pretty interesting. Some opportunity for research there to also. So, of course, the last one is again textual analysis. Very good market competition. Mike Mees from University of Chicago, I think he developed through his dissertation at University of Michigan. He just counted the word stemming from competition, competing and all that, counted it, and subtracted something that reduces it, like less competition, low competition, little competition, so subtracted that. With one constraint that he wanted to have little, low, and less, this less little received before competition and within 3 words. So he counted those kind of incidents and then came up with a model that predicts market competition much better than any model developed before that on financial metrics. It was published in JAR in 2013. So we incorporated that and got the entire population from 94 till 2021 and yesterday that metric. And a lot of opportunity. That's a highly sought after database that we have. So that's what I want. Gunning fog index, smog index, all these different 6 of those are more commonly used. So one more. Last one is something of your interest in accounting, published by Andy Leon from Northwestern. He's there. So here is just one. Gunning fog index. It's a regression model. and they tested it, validated it. The score, if it is 6, that means 6 credit scale. If it is 17, of course, out. And basically, it has value, especially if you're writing a manual. You want to know what level. Even textbook for young kids, suppose. And if you write it, and the score is 16, of course, it's not what these grade school kids. So it makes sense. But how that is relevant? Is it relevant for our studies? Well, management also sometimes communicates in a way that make it easy to understand or make it difficult. Okay? And so, but when we talk about this, Bonsal, Leon, and Veneca developed accounting and economics, very recent paper, in relative terms, 2017. Their premise was, well, not all multi-syllable words are complex. Because originally, all the models are developed means how complex the sentence is, that means number of words per sentence, how many complex words are there in a sentence, and complex is defined by multi-syllable words. Well, they argue that company is a multi-syllable word, but we all understand what it means. Litigation, multi-syllable word, we understand. So it's not complex. So it is more domain-specific complex words. So they came up with their own list of complex words.
But yeah, question. I've seen this kind of research, everywhere in finance, clients that we use. But when you use that as a right-hand side. You're trying to capture the sentiment, the tone of the voice. But I'm curious, I never examined the literature deeply. How do they, take a paper like this, how do they validate that this is a good measure to capture the plain? Do they have leadership people that?
I think it must be. I have not gone through the paper, but it was intriguing to me because SEC right now mandates that companies should disclose their business risk in plain English terms. And they have published a document, what plain English term means.
Yeah.
But these people, they took that as a starting point, the SEC publication to describe what plain English means, and then they came up with their own argument that really not all complex, multi-syllable words are complex. And then I have a good question, how did they validate it? I'm sorry, I didn't go to the detail, but they must have used some expert.
Yeah.
They must have used some expert to see whether these things that are coming with this score are they good to understand. So, but that's it. So this is recent paper. Right? So one thing that they did, they used the proprietary software, somebody's program. So we don't know what is inside the box. So we cannot. So people are trying to get this measure. They have it available on their website for all the 10Ks, but if you want that measure for something else, it's not available. So I'm thinking to contact them and say, hey, can you work together? Maybe you give your technology for some fee and then make it available. Anyway, this is just a measure of two companies' readability, like Satyam and Wipro. You may not know, some of you may know, Satyam and Wipro, those two companies, very similar companies, were being traded at New York Stock Exchange. Wipro still is in business. Satyam, chairman, committed a major fraud. Guess what? Auditors didn't find it. On the top, PCAOB inspectors didn't find it. Can you believe it? Both said everything is fine. What the Pricewaterhouse has done on this engagement is good. It came out because the CEO, the chairman could not take it. He came out and confessed. He's riding a tiger. You get up, you get killed. He served jail. And so I'm just trying to just show you that what it means. No paper is published, it's just I was exploring. So I look at this measure, Satyam on one index, fog index, Satyam uniformly more difficult to read than this. Is there a message? I don't know. I'm just exploring. Maybe I look at another method. Sometimes again, uniformly more difficult. Then I said, well, let me take another example. And one in Africa. No comparison. I mean, I don't do any better work. So I was curious, but maybe better will be to have the same industry like the Satyam and Bitcoin. This one I just pick two companies and see what happens. Looks like that one was more complex, uniform. Then another method, same thing. Now, so this is the beginning. Enron, Microsoft, the other one. Okay. Yeah, this is just simply showing you that in our system, you can get all the results here. In a matter of seconds, I'll show you. These are all the derivatives, these are all the financial derivatives and everything for all the companies. But let me go into this one and it is geometry applied to textual analysis. So we come to cosine method. How many of you have heard cosine chart itself? Right? You all know? Have heard? Cosine comes from trigonometry and it has to do with two vectors have some angle between them. So cosine theta means what is the value of cosine means you project on vector one onto the top of the other, so that's the cosine method, say, rise over hypotenuse, something like that, run over hypotenuse. But it measures similarity. How? Well, let me give examples. So here is a situation where A is a vector and B is a two-dimensional space, x, y axis. So I have vector A, you have some x component and y component. Then B, again some y and some x component. Theta is the angle between them. So if the angle is 0, then A and B are superimposed. A cosine of 0 is 1. So people have used that as method of similarity. They call it maximally similar. If the two vectors are superimposed on one on the top of the other, then angle is 0 and cosine of 0 is 1. So they call it maximally similar. They are not identical. They could be identical. If A and B both are equal, then they are identical. But the problem is that if the second vector is 1.5 times, 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, 40 times, still it gives you the same number, 1. And that was the problem with me that I said, some flights, it doesn't make sense. How can you have all these situations and the method of similarity gives you the same number? But it is being used in business too. I mentioned that in finance, people have done some study to identify mergers and acquisitions by understanding how similar the strategies of the two companies are, how similar the product and services are. Based on that, they decide to merge or acquire. Marketing people have used to determine competition. If their strategies and product distribution are channels of distribution very similar, maybe they are competitors. In fact, in one study I remember, they mentioned that it is a better classifier or identifier of competition than SIC code, industrial code, because they may be in the same SIC code, but they may not be a competitor. But if you use this cosine method of similarity, they found it to be much better to predict the competitor. So cosine theta is this method that you can do it. A dot B simply means multiply each element by element and then divide by the value of the size of the A and size of B. So you can calculate it really, it's not a big, you can use the Excel spreadsheet to calculate. And so this cosine theta is the measure of similarity. And sum up. How does it matter now for document? Well, in X, Y, Z dimension, you say, all right, projection along X, projection on Y, projection on Z, the rest of that. For a document, each word could define an axis. You see what I'm saying? Each word. So suppose I have a document where litigation appears 5 times and company appears 2 times and something else. So that becomes a multi-dimensional vector where each word is absent. So you know how many times that word appears. That is the projection on that axis of that document. So document A has multi-dimensional vector. Then another document B, multi-dimensional. I can compute the angle, cosine theta. Pretty straightforward, again, analytics. You can multiply term by term for each of the words, divide by the magnitude of the factor, and you get cosine. So when you measure cosine theta to be, say, 0.9, that means 90% similar. But if the angle is exactly 0, then cosine will give you 1. And that can happen if we're looking at some attributes, especially defined by certain phrases. Like let's just take litigation and some related to litigation. And so one company states these 5 different phases one time. Another company repeats that identically in 5 times. So it is one vector is 5 times to the other vector. And since it is the same phrase, that means it's zero.
So Raj, in vectors, there's a magnitude and a direction.
Right.
So magnitude is the count. How often does litigation show up on a paper? But what's the direction? I mean, these
direction is the projection. So how many times it appeared on this axis, how many times on this axis? So simple case will be 2-dimensional. So you have 2 units on X and 5 units on Y. So that is the direction. But another case where you have only 1 unit on X and 10 units on Y, that's another.
But if you have three or 5 or 20 vectors, how do you?
So for a document, each word represents an axis. Okay, so it's a multi-dimensional space. And so if one word appears 5 times, so on that axis, the projection is 5 times. But the other document may have only 2 times. So that projection is only 2 times. So both represented by vectors in a multi-dimensional space where the number of times it appears is a count on that axis.
I think the direction similarity.
Yeah.
The other one is going to be a point. Right? If there, an example here that I have 5 times more words, it's a bigger document.
Bigger document.
Can't you normalize them to get the number of words divided by the total number of words?
They do it, that's another version of it. But when you come to cosine measure, it does very bit better in terms of looking at
the actual word.
Yeah. So here is just to tell you that how the cosine really makes sense here, because each document becomes a vector in a multi-dimensional space, and we can work on the analytics, and we can determine the angle and the size and all that we can do. And it has been, so here is just an example. I say litigation appears 3 times in one document, and penalty appears 4 times. And then another document, litigation appears 4 times, and the other one only 3 times, just switching the numbers. How do you calculate it? And this is a real example. I counted for some case, for an example, litigation, how many times appear, and penalty, how many times appear. And so here is the vector A, and here is the vector B. Now, just 2 dimensions. And how do you determine the angle? So this is A dot. So the value of A that we're talking about, you take the square of each dimension and add it, and then take the square root. This is 5 is 5, and same is 5 for B. Simple example. And then this is A dot B. A1, B1 plus A2, B2, and you get more into B and all that. For a document like 500 words, you may have 500 words long. And then this is what the cosine of theta will be. A dot B divided by the value and the value of B. That's 0.96. And angle is 15 degrees. So this is saying that these 2 documents containing these 2 words, the angle is 15 degrees, or the commonality or measure of similarity 0.96. but there is a problem, and that's what I. So, okay, this is just about the applications I mentioned earlier. You can, yeah, this is actually different words. You can have cosine method where you include everything, not just the word, but even the numbers. You can do that, the technology, our technology does it. Or you can have only words, but no stop words, like, all the prepositions and postpositions and, I and B and all that. So you can do that. I include everything. So, or you can create your own phrase. And some of it I'll show you that when I measure the financial risk, in the set of phrases that these people use when they did their model. So I use those phrases to determine cosine. Then problem. Now there is one problem here. The sentence error is fixed or fixed is error, same words. So if I use the word as an axis to measure cosine, it's not able to capture the semantic meaning. So there is a problem, but that can be overcome. You can use natural language processor and you can fix it. By the way, I don't know how many of you know, language in India, Sanskrit, has a place value of the word, like number. If you say 1, 2, 3, 1 is 100 million times and 3 is unit. Sanskrit has a place value, that's why it becomes difficult. So if there is a word like atom appearing as an object, subject, you can have one ending. If it appears as an object, you have another ending. And all kinds of that, 21 different words. Very common. They are using it right now in NASA in the computer program because language, if I just put the words and change their position, the meaning changes. The computer can understand. But if you put the right grammar into it, of course, then it can understand. So anyway, so I think the already Stanford provides that NPL. We have tried it and worked it. So that is fine. It's not a big deal, except when you're using cosine method where you want to maintain the meaning with the NPL. However, this is the one that if one document is just double of the other document in every respect, it still provides the same measure of 1. For that matter, any given angle, you fix 10 degrees and change the size of the other vector, it's still going to give you the same measure. So to me, it didn't make sense. So here is okay. Now this one I already talked about. It's the first customer, how they're using it. Okay. And here is the problem. A and B I see equal. So send on the theta. Now another situation, B is 1.5 times of A, then 2 times of A. So cosine theta, whether of similarity is going to be the same, right? Make it extreme. Make it 20 times, 50 times. Still same value. And to me, it didn't make sense. I was trying to find the solution. And after wandering around for a couple of months, finally I found out. So the measure of similarity is based on this difference vector C. Because if the C is 0, they are identical. And C could be different. So I use that C and normalize it by what we call this maximum distance. C, when A and B are a problem and individual part, this measure of C, the length will be A square plus B square is square root from Pythagoras theorem. So I normalize with that. So the C divided by that was measure of normalized what we call difference, and 1 minus that becomes singularity. So this is what normalized difference and up. So this is the final formula, which is simply normalized difference, which is divided by this square root of A square plus B square. And I try to show it in the review. So here is one graph that you may have seen in the paper. So I look at these 4 different scenarios. when A equal to B, then B equal to 2 times of A, and B equal to 2 times of A, and 5 times of A, and measure the cosine. The top left line, line 1, or graph 1, is based on cosine. For all these 4 different situations, it gives me the same method. But my proposed model, you can see for the last one, B equal to 5 times of A, where the angle is 0. Yes, superimposed on each other, but one is 5 times of the other. Only approximately 20% is common. So it is measuring that. Almost 20% they are similar. And so long all the way to 0. So at the two ends, you can see that 90-degree angle both equal the same value. But all other angles will get different value. And so it looks like cosine is overestimating the symmetry. That was not enough for the reviewer, the first round. Kind of interesting. Some reviewers said, well, why worry about now? It has been used for 20 years. So why worry now? Other reviewers said, well, if I say I like it one time, and I say it 5 times, I like it, there is no different information content or extra information. It's the same thing. So I think that helped me rethink, how to rebut it. So I thought about the risks. I said, well, if one company says litigation 1 time, and another one says 10 times, it's not the same thing. There is a different risk profile. And that gave me the idea that let me look at all different possible scenarios of risk and then compare with these 2 metrics. And it's it comes out so clear that there was no question second time. So here is just a pattern. So the solid line is based on Campbell and high wallpaper. They developed a financial risk model. They have also developed litigation and many others, which we have incorporated in our technology. Financial risk. Now pick that a certain number, 5, 3, 4, and all that. So I have to find some way to compare with my proposed method. So I look at the change in financial risk. So their model will give you some number, like maybe 2 or 3. My approach was between 0 and 1. So the difference, the change always will be between 0 and 1. So you can't compare the magnitude, but the trend of change we should compare. And so I said, okay, let's try the same exact set of phrases and compute the cosine measure and the change from 1 year to another year, and use my proposed method and find out the change between, and then use already well-tested published models from Taiwan and others. And look at that. I mean, it replicates exact same pattern, cosine. There was no way to see any pattern.
So each point here compared 1 year with the previous year.
Right. So change, successive change. So you can see this one 10, 11, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14, 15. Pretty interesting to me. So I was not kind of interested in publishing a paper after 4 years of retirement, but somehow I felt like if I don't publish it, it will not have the credibility. People will be hesitant to use it. So I got to publish it. I wrote the paper and presented it at Rutgers, Nicholas. And he is, kind of a creative individual. He likes new ideas. He said, "Wow, it's pretty interesting. Why don't you submit to our journal?" I was thinking of maybe sending it to the car where, some of these publications appeared, or I will send a copy to Mike Mills at the University of Chicago. He said, well, it doesn't hurt you, why not you send it to them? But the time frame, sometimes I felt that I don't want to wait 2 years, 3 years. I need to have it right away. If Nicholas wants it, then have it. So this is where now it is published.
So the first one, the one in red, does that mean that the text did not change at all according to the cosine measure?
Which one?
The one in red. The one in red is a different measure.
That's like the cosine measure.
So
people have been using to find the difference between 2 documents and their papers related to auditing, related to multiplication, related to competition. But seems like it is not a good measure. There are situations where things are repeated multiple times.
Right, so it could be that the consecutive they just use some templates, right? If you use the same template, it's the same thing. But then in 2015, they started repeating the word litigation risk, litigation risk, litigation risk many times.
Yeah, but the template, the basic problem is that definition of cosine is such that it
Right.
doesn't distinguish between the size of the
Right.
vector.
Yeah.
And that is the key point here. Because the angle is given, and no matter how the two vectors differ in their size, it's going to give you the same value. And that is the problem. And that is why we see no pattern.
But if you have one document and you get this document and replicate it 5 times, then it just goes like this, right? So it creates this difference.
Yeah, so the cosine method is not going to distinguish between one situation versus the other. Whereas this approach is much more precise. It tells you really how much, yes.
In the finance literature, my understanding is a lot of people actually normalize
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
before we calculate.
Yeah, but it is simply normalizing it both same way. But it's still the related things is still.
But I want to
Really
two dimensions that we're discussing. One is the similarity, how often you use some kind of word compared to yourself.
Yeah.
And the other is the volume, how much you say those words, all of them together. Right? There's my example here, the similarity would be the direction, but then you have the volume. So
Yeah.
If you
So
copy and paste the document 5 times, it just expands this.
Yeah. So the cosine method, the major weakness is that it's not able to distinguish between the situations where they may be identical and they may be multiple times of the other. And so even if you normalize it, it's still going to remain safe. Actually, in the paper I discussed also, there is a adjustment by counting the frequency. I think I forgot the term now. You remember the term that they use? Frequency means how popular the term is, right? So suppose you have in domain 500 supplements. And so certain words appear in all the 500. That's not important. Because everybody uses it, like article blah, everywhere. So it's not important. Or something, but some words appear only in 3 documents of the 500. So that is more important. So define that kind of occurrence in that domain, and then use that to measure the cosine method. Even there also the cosine method doesn't stand what the proposed method does.
What do you mean?
It's like very normalization.
idea.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. So I discussed that in the paper, and show also an example that by using that technique, we still cosine remains the problem. It doesn't really eliminate. And so whether you normalize it or you do some other technique, still there is a basic problem. And
That's right. I'm impressed on this. That this measure is getting together these 2 dimensions. One is similarity, the other is volume, right? And I don't know, because you could get 2 different vectors that you change the angle and change the volume. They have, each dimension is different, but they have the same vector.
Well, so the one good thing about whether it's cosine or vector similarity, you get one measure of similarity. What you're saying means 2 different dimensions, you can do that.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, so probably you can do that.
Measure 2 things,
Yeah.
capture 2 things.
Yes. And I see that it's not limited to this. There's another aspect of this. The textual analysis, the texts are all there, are not there. So the angle maximum could be 90 degrees between 2 documents. You have no negative side. See what I'm saying? You cannot have, but if you are dealing with numbers, like let's say balance sheet. So you have positive numbers, negative numbers. So you can treat each balance sheet line item as an axis and the value as the size of the vector. You see what I'm saying? And so you can represent the balance sheet by a vector, another balance sheet by a vector, and then compare the 2. And there is a paper by Mark Green, I don't know if any of you know. He is the one who started digital analysis in distribution of digits using Benford's law. So he published that paper, I think in 21 or 20, trying to compare financial statements using this method of analytical geometry. So he used the concept that each line item can be an axis, and the corresponding value could be the size of that axis. So you have a balance sheet of company A, one vector, balance sheet of another company B, and he compares the two by determining the difference. But he normalizes it with the maximum span, because the maximum they could be apart is the 180 degrees. Because if everything is negative and everything positive, so, and then, and he has a method of that. So this one that I propose is specifically for textual analysis where you don't worry about the negative side, because there's no such thing as negative word. And so limited 90 degrees, that's why I'm normalizing that, and it works out. And it is already incorporated in the technology. And so it's pretty interesting. Here is another one. Oh yeah, this is the site on our website. I can get all the different measures. This is just a comparison of Bangkok committed fraud in 2014. Actually, they were falsifying information, but they restated in 2015. And so this one is talking about cosine method, three different ways. I didn't use any specific phrases. Just put in the system, Bangkok, give me the cosine method. All the words without number, all words without with the stop words. So three different scenarios. And you can see the one that is more significant is with the stop word. The stop word may not come very much. So I removed that, so a little bit more significant. But look at the change here. It is very small. This is 94 and this is 1. It is 2%. In fact, first two almost invisible if you put it in, there's only 1% or 2. But when I do that in the vector similarity, same thing. Big change. Again, three different measures. Not worrying about the phrases or words, just a bunch, take 15 with all the words, including numbers, with all the words with stop words and no stop words, and see what happens. So they're very similar, but you can see the change in the quite significant up for the vector similarity.
Yeah. Are you also planning to do this implement strategy section by section? Because
you can do it. I didn't do it. This is just a simple exercise. I said, I will report, give me these measures, and I got it in 2 seconds. Actually, I'll show you. And the problem. But you can do it, and we do it on custom stuff. I have programmers that you want only this section, fine. You want MDNA, fine. You want footnote, fine. You want certain paragraph that has certain keywords, you can focus on that. That we do. Yeah. This is just an earlier example, I think, sometime and before. So you can see all the 3 different possible measures for sine and then vector. So cosine is again not much change, but if I use the vector similarity, the green line is Wipro, no change, and circum is change, they're caught in a committed form. By the way, I have a paper, I think with the third mark. Why, how PCAOB also missed that part, do you know that? AICPA has a list, at least when we were doing the research, risky account. Okay? So, risky account means revenue. Make sure that revenue audit carefully. Expenses, make sure you audit expenses. Make sure that the financial instruments you audit carefully. Guess what? Those things are coming for their stupid people. Chairman Sutton overstated cash by $1.4 billion. $1.4 billion. And these guys didn't catch because it was not in the risky list. They did a sloppy job. They accepted the tax, kind of from the CEO and the chairman as a piece of evidence to support the bank account. So we wrote and communicated to the PCOAD. I think they changed now. They do some random something. Think about it. I compare that with the terrorist approach. Do you think that terrorists will ever carry explosives in 100 years? Why would they do that? They know that they're going to check it. So they will find something else to come to what they want to find. Same thing fraud. These guys are not going to be free. They will find other than that's why still fraud is happening, but in a more creative way. So actually they changed the way we published the paper on this issue. But anyway, so this is more variation also. This is 10 years actually. It comes into a matter of seconds. Now I can get this distribution. So I tried Enron. Two things now, so I sorted it out. And few things that is what you can look at the whole thread. 0, 0, 0, 0, 34, 35, 54, 52. Highest the year they went on. Then I noticed this broadband. 0, 0, 0, 0, all of them is fraud. Is there something that they're helping the market? Maybe, I don't know. This is something that you young minds have to think about it and see what are the words that they will not use or what are the words they will use. You know, and so I look at the snippets because I got some snippets. So they're saying Enron wholesale operates in developed market and all that. Then this one, broadband, same thing. So you can look at it. I know. And actually one of my colleagues wanted this. Seems like he has been lost, he has not still used it to we have it, you know. But think about it, you can look at classroom. Take cases now, very good, healthy company, honest company like Microsoft bring it down and look at some other things and see how they are managing the words, what are the words they have been using and not using now or what it was. So it depends on the creativity of their mind that what to do this. This was just my exploration without any meaning that what I'm trying to do. Just showing that yes, you can look at changes of words one year to another year and see what is happening. Okay. This is another thing. I don't know how many of you his name. He is one of the pioneers in that textual analysis. Very early in 2008, I think he came up. You know, this was his dissertation in the incident. So he looked at the pretty simple measure. These 6 words. These 6 words counted it and took log of 1 plus that number. Because 1 plus that number, if that number is 0, log of 1 is 0. So he took that as a measure and he did some more analysis on how these changes affect their earnings performance, announcement, products. It's published with us, you can see that. Well, this is Enron. So this one I will ask you to compute that in a matter of seconds. I got it and started it properly. Look at it. Going up and up and up and up. On this even simple measure of risk, Enron is telling the public that we are discount. I don't think they knew that they are telling the public, but even that simple measure, then these are the risks that Campbell and Halliwell and others developed. It's pretty interesting. So we incorporated our model. This is published. So here is just a list of phrases they use for financial risk, like chapter 11, chapter 9, and these are kind of bankruptcy related filings, and then few others. Fine, we have programmed it, and you can calculate this for even specific exceptions. It is validated for only item 1A. That is what ICP actually SEC required. Disclosure of this list in item 1A. It started from 2005. So we have that for all the publications from 2005 to now. But you can go beyond that too, except it is tested and validated for item 1A, but you can get the entire document, or you can get a MD&A or some sections. You can this is for legal litigation risk. and then some also with the tax. So you can do for 10K, paragraph, then you can look at footnote, you can look at the MBA, you can look at the icon, even 20 years, 40 years. But 20 years, 40 years is not very easy, right? Because they are different kind of companies operating in different countries. So that needs to be validated and done. But at least the tool is there. You want to play around, you can do that, or you can come up with your own set of phrases and then get the method. Going back, I think I want some of you who may be interested in contributing to this field, look at this list. Just the financial list. This is a generic model. It's not specific to industry. I personally believe that it will be good to look at the specific industry. Like, for example, my company is a purely virtual company. There's no office, there's no equipment, there's no money, there's nothing, except everything on the cloud. What is the financial risk? Cybersecurity. That's a big risk. If I have a problem, probably I will die tomorrow because that's it. Or bandwidth problem. If I have a really poor network, internet service, nobody connects me. That is not there. Pharmaceutical industry. I know when I was thinking of the cases in my auditing class, pharmaceutical companies, they have to have products at different stages. Some at the initial research stage, some at the animal testing stage, some at the human being testing stage, some at the FDA approval level, and some in the market. If all those in the business not there, I don't think this company will survive too long because the competitors will be. Those things are not. So what I'm saying that you have opportunity to contribute here in terms of specific industry. And I was talking to Tori about the ultimate Z factor. Have you heard about it? Ultimate Z factor for bankruptcy model. He developed a generic model based on certain ratios. And so, all right, if the score is over 3.5, it's a very healthy company, will never go bankrupt. If it is less than 1.5, they will be bankrupt. And in between, gray area, but that's a generic model. He developed more industry-specific model. Guess what? He didn't publish it, I guess. You probably know. He didn't publish it. He made tons of money by consulting. But what I'm saying is that in all these, you have opportunity to improve upon it. The tool is there. It is only you have to be creative in terms of thinking of the phrases, what makes sense, and then count it. You don't have to have write your own program, but you are there, count it, develop the model, and validate it. Anything. Okay, let's see some more.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
Has anybody considered using this tool or some other tools to actually look at previous filings where we know that there are issues and have to actually pull out what some of those risky words are safe in the pharmaceutical industry?
I don't remember seeing that yet.
So you haven't said
No, but people have done the tone before. I have not done it. I want to show you and challenge you and excite you about this kind of research. But if I had to do it today, of course, those are things I will look at. So I think it's up to you. But the tools are there that you can do it very efficiently. Now, here is some example. Here is one. This is Hertz. Just a computation. I put the Hertz CIK and got the measure of the financial risk recently over these 5 years, 10 years. Look at the 2014. Financial risk high. Litigation risk high. Of course, this thing is not as precise, so not much stuff. What happened to 2014? Hertz committed fraud betting. So these things are measuring what is supposed to measure. Now, if somebody committed fraud, of course, there is more financial risk. And so it shows. Now, here is something that I just did before coming here. I asked my programmer to give me all these measures of different risk over certain periods, so 5 years or so. So I look at now financial risk. The financial risk, I took a 5-year window that measured more than 5, more risky financial. Just wanted to see the investment. Guess what? Which is the highest financial risk company? I think it makes sense. No hypothesis I developed, no research is not published. But I'm trying to show you that all different kinds of ways you can cut and slice, slice these things, and depends on your creativity, what you want to do. I think. Then another one is litigation. Again, interesting finding. This is more higher level, more than 5 is scored. Which is more litigious company? Pharmaceutical. Which makes sense. Then I looked at one specific company. I said, let me try one which is right now in the news. I think the DuPont. There's some news story that they want to go bankrupt. I think the court is not letting them go bankrupt or something. So I said, okay, let me try that. Oh yeah, this is. Oh yeah, 3M. Oh, sorry, it's not DuPont. This one is 3M. So I'm looking at 3M for this 8 years, 9 years of this time. So this is one risk. Looks like 3M more recently, more risk according to family model. It's very simple. Then another one, financial risk. Another one is litigation risk. That's a blue one. More recently, more risk of litigation. Systematic. So these are simply just without any hypothesis, just trying to explore what you can do. Here is the one that I'm talking about, DuPont. So I wanted to see how for DuPont, which risks are there and why. Okay. This family major risk, of course, they are mentioning those words. But financial risk is zero. There was no such mention of those key phrases. Zero. What about litigation? High. Then I look at tax, it is zero. So what is it? Why is litigation? Think about it. Litigation happens most of the time because of financial issue. Because the company is really going bankrupt, and so all the stakeholders are suing the company. In this case, zero. What is it they're suing for? Maybe something else. DuPont. Maybe there is a chemical, some biological, or some such influence on the users of their product that is causing this litigation. So just an illustration here that what all one can do given the massive data that you have at your access. Here is another question. We have in our system no stop word. So I can have a phrase with all the stop words. What is that? Okay, so this is very comfortable opinion. So it's very structured kind of opinion. So I can put those phrases and get all the going concern opinion. But red bar is where the company is saying we may never make profit. Some versions of it. I found some 20 different versions that they were saying. So I got all those companies that were mentioning that we will never be profitable. The third mark said, well, can you find out what kind of opinion they get? So I, along with that phrase where they are saying we may never profit, I put the going concern phrase. And I got this. Less than 50% are getting going concern phrase. Then the remaining I checked their opinion, they were clean. This is not yet research. Think about it. There must be some economic reason that these investors, because these companies are going for multiple years. You can see the system, People are investing money in these, and the auditors are giving opinion. Why is it? Well, to me, it seems like that these companies are investing ventures. They want to somehow avoid any litigation, so they are saying, hey, we will never be profitable. You invest on your own risk. Because I found out these companies are drug companies. They are manufacturing drugs for maybe cancer stuff or some other things. Or somewhere IT too. So if I have multi-million dollars, I can spend $200,000 here and $200 there. If I lose it, I will survive. If I make it, I make it 1,000 times. So this is the kind of thing that you cannot get from anything. Okay? And many more. Here is the going concern opinion authority. Actually, this is, you can see, 2014 data, 13. Recently, I saw an article making a big deal that we have what is opinion data and here is the plot. This is 2014. Simply by identifying the pattern, since we do not have any software, we can precisely say things like we do not have financial expert. I have the data for that. Businesses have to disclose if they do not have financial expert on the board or on the committee. Right now, who are these companies? There's no data available. Through our system, we already have done it because I play around. I just what I like. So I played around with the multiple words in proximity and then found out all those phrases the way they were saying. And then I found out that these are the companies that are saying we do not have financial expertise on our board of the committee. Okay. Same thing independent. They also say that we do not have independent member on our board. Who are they? There's no database available. Through us, you can get it. Actually, I have already used it. Here is a statement. My opinion is I was planning to go to Europe, visit some schools. So I asked him, he's an institute power professor, that would you introduce me? So this is what he wrote. Hey, Pepper, this is professor at HCC, I think one of the top schools I think in France. I hope all is well. Wanted to make quick introduction about my company, the company SeekEdgar several years ago. I thought I would connect with two of these because I use SeekEdgar for both research and teaching. It is an excellent textual analysis tool for all sorts of SEC documents. Very cool tool, and I have known lots of people. He's not my friend. He wants to help this non-business, non-marketing person, And there's another, I was mentioning to 20, and I think to you. Another problem is because of the competition of publishing in our profession, if you see a gold mine, you're not going to tell him. My own colleague, I asked him, he got one economy review, one minor science, and I think another one was accepted review, and almost accepted in economy review. Talking about 5 years back. Are you telling your friends about this? He said, Raj, this is my strength. I said, come on, it will not be for too long. And so that's another problem, because if you know of something good, you want to milk it as much as possible before you get it. So what I have to do is this way. When I went to Australia, I visited some 5-6 schools, they're private now, because they are first hand. If I send somebody, even to my friends, a link, nobody has time, it's too busy. And so I think, let me show you a few things. Here is a list of the schools. You can see Washington, Yale, University of Chicago, and a lot of all over the world, Taiwan, Singapore, India, of course, Hong Kong, India, big university. So it's going well. It's not that bad. But these are databases. I think I'll send you to Tony some of the discussions.
Have you considered included this as part of some kind of meta database like words?
Yeah.
Word sometimes incorporates data that was created by it.
Who's that? Word.
The word.
Yes, Word. I know. They have copies of it. They have the paper.
Oh, they got it.
And then,
but I don't know if
it's not as good.
But is it theirs or is someone else?
No, it is theirs. And then same thing copies that. They copied the idea. They didn't have any personality. They copied, they call it capitalized. That itself add-on is $9,000. So the problem is I can't fight with anybody else. I can only be that be innovative, do things and do things. But those who see it and have seen it closely, they love it and it's good. I can call one person, I think it's Queen Mary University of London, something. It's just in England. so and so. So this person had used it at Penn State. C is now in Israel. So she recommended this individual that we should look at our system. So this individual is the administrator of technology, information technology, C competent lead, so and so I recommended, I would like to know about it and pricing and all that. How do you compare with so and so? I think it was IntelliGize something. I said, well, you are the best. Just for it. Here is the login, you play along with the opportunity there. Send me a note that you want. So being academic, I have no time to really compare and all that. Let the user decide it and then go from there. So I want to show you, so this thing, like composition data, it's very expensive. But for us, it was easy to create. So we created data for compensation, we created for executive bio, we have all these things, you can see how many times are committee meets, how many times board meets, who is the chairman, and also the CEO of the company, that's the independent related. So all these available, the 17 databases that we have, conference calls, who said what, and even textual analysis people have performed on their colleagues, all that. Company specific information, file analysis, database from 3, 4, 5. That itself, I don't know how many of you know, Form 3 and 4 and 5 relates to insider trading. So SEC requires that to be reported to the Dell about insider trading. Thomson Reuters is the only one provides the data. We have included the database fee, which are $13,000 for just that. And one of the users from Arkansas, he was using this data, and they also have Thomson Reuters. He said, Raj, your database is much better. I said, well, why not you make a statement and we'll put it on our site? He said, Raj, I'm just right now doing my thesis, then we finish the thesis, then I do it. So those are the things, So now I want to spend a few minutes. Here is, I have created a link. I will send again with some more information. But if you want to try, I think we tried interoperability. So that's the website with .co, not .com. .com is a regular site where you have to subscribe. .co is the trial version. The only limitation is that you can't download 100,000 different tables. It's limited to 1 or 2. But you can play around with all that. Yeah, I will
save it on my browser.
So this is I will go to show you some tips of it. My conclusion is knowledge, imagination, and thinking is I truly believe that in the research thinking will value. Data that is cooked data that computers provide is only limited to that many factors. And if you are anything else, that's done. That is why these schools like Chicago and Yale and Washington and some of the students, IM, they like it because it provides opportunity to you to put in the system. It's not limited to only the separate officer or the local family. You can get financial information precisely what you want. Like CompassStat has now like the data. So suppose you want airline industry like airline profit liability or fuel hedges. Those numbers you can't get it. In your system, you put that precisely back. You get entire operational data. I want to show you something. So think about all the questions you have. I want to go and take just a few minutes. I may have to log in again. I hate this thing.
You find them all.
Yeah, well, nothing like that. Because sometimes I will do this, I will do this before I get. Okay, so this one, you will have access. Few things that I want you to know right here. User's guide. User's guide, some 150 or 200 pages of slides. The first slide gives you 16 examples that is very detailed. You can see how to do what, step by step. Also, there are some 12 videos to investigate individual how to start. I want to make it as automated as possible. I would have liked to give it free and have work, but I keep developing. So I have to maintain a quick cost to travel. I think I'm paying really big amount. $36 million. Every day is updated. Yesterday, I got it. So it's a big cost, but I think the number of subscribers I have is providing the resources. I go over the field and sale is over the likes, it's on sale, But so this is something that you should be aware of. And then another one here, the videos, the sequence examples. There are 12 different videos, small videos. You can see that and try to start. And so go back to this. Now this one, right hand side is on the file. You can see it depending on the user. I don't know what to use. So University of Chicago has been very helpful. They said, well, can you add this? So we added. Yeah, he said, it's a way to add the earnings announcement. That would be good. Is the conference call? Yeah. So it depends on the user. If any file is not there, we can add it. Don't take much time. Because the tool is there, the processing is put in the cloud. So simple example, suppose Corona. So COVID, so suppose you want to look at, who are the ones that are saying COVID, mentioning their COVID R, there's a vertical line, Corona virus. So vertical line means R, plus means and, minus means negation. So if you have a hyphenated word, don't use the minus sign, put a space there. Like risk free. So say risk space free rather than negation. You put minus sign is negation of the don't use that. So now, so left hand side is all the logic, Boolean logic. I can have phrase there in all the words, without any stop. And so select all the companies, all the years. This is just yesterday, and paragraph. And let's look at the entire population of $36 million. I got 193,000 text. It gives you snippet where the word is here. If you don't know how to further focus, read that and see few more words around it, and then re-put that I want these 3 4 words within 10. And then declare context. What they're using for in the context of net income or earnings per share, or I can put those words to do that. So there are features where you have few words before and after. Then another one I think I was showing is pretty interesting. I want to look at certain tables, specific tables, identify feature of the table. So I was showing her audit fee, which is a big deal in a lot of work, and audit analysis made a ton of money. But I want to show you, I look at the table, 2 phrases that stand out in every table. One is audit related fee or audit related fees. Okay. See that? I have achieved it. Audit related fee and audit related fees. Okay. These 2 tables. And they are in annual, actually, proxy statement. We have 14. 74,000 tables and so forth. And I can dump into Excel. I can have my programmer to program it at a very straightforward structure, and they can dump it into the where people are already using audit mechanics, there's no need for us, and we can create it for a matter of days. But why not do something that is not available anywhere? So we created the consistent data. How? Look here. If I look at any table, they are in table. Audit let's see, salary and bonus within 2. So I was exploring how to find out. People ask, let me get compensation on that. So I looked at some examples. I found compensation tables had the salary and bonus between each other in most of the cases. See what happens. See that? So clean. There's nothing like that. They may copy the idea, they copy everything. And what we have done, there are some exceptions. Some cases may be more than 3 years. And so the program is going to document everything and capture data and put the operation that we have now. That are based on compensation. To go and buy outside, $40,000 compensation. Except many people know it, companies don't know it, and I don't have time and interest to go and be in the market. I'm here to leave the tool for the surface. With my age, I mean, you will be surprised. I started this one, in 95, 96. When I got it from KU, it was 2012, I was 70 years old. I started it in July. So it is exciting. Just because I keep innovating and doing things, and it's going well. But it is up to you guys, use it and publish a lot of papers. Example, Harvard Business School wanted to know who all have invested in them. They didn't get the data from anywhere. They contacted me, they found out from where. I said, well, what are you looking for? They said, well, Uber. And before they start, I said, okay, let's try this. So I tried first, paragraph I didn't get. I said, well, let's put 10, just out of fact, no logical reason. I said, well, Uber preferred within 10, look at the table. Now I'm going to here restrict when they were not public company. I look at maybe 2018. Okay, December 31st. So now on 94 to 2000. Table. The question was where? They didn't know that. I said, let's look at all. So now, entire 36 million documents, I'm looking for tables that contain Uber and preferred within 10. It's just impossible for me to try something. See, what is interesting? What is the file? NQ, NCSR. You know what they are? They are filing required by SEC by the investment companies to disclose where they're putting public money. So these are our trusts and funds from the banks. Okay? I went further to see well, who is investing in John Motors. So I put John Motors and put some keywords and then give me all the operation of companies that are investing. Especially institutional investors. I'm still waiting. Let me show you Putnam. I think some that you look at here. So many, all different places they're investing. So in terms of where you can get information that you want by querying the system, except we have to know what you get. We also have, like I'm free all the time, but sometimes like that. One visiting person in got to see this. She's from Amsterdam. Just the other day we were on Zoom. So I said, well, since you are visiting faculty, we will give you the data through Chicago. Go ahead and publish some good paper. And so you see looking at litigation related issues. So that's what it is. Not more here, maybe sometime later somebody has used in the classroom. Actually, I'm giving a blanket license. Everybody, within the classroom, use the faculty, give distance, and some school of faculty library because they know this is for the classroom. And we saw my students in the classroom. When we use in the first day in MBA class, everybody excited. They want to have, now we have created a link in the library. So they can go to the library and get what they want. I would say that start with the class problem. Look at the companies X and Y and see some characteristics within the pattern. It's not the best. There's a lot of ways you can do. Question, anyone want to try something? No, go ahead. But it is a technology that I believe that is worth trying. The only problem is convincing the people that, hey, do something good. I didn't show you the other one was from Bob Hurst. You all may know him. He was the chairman of the FASB. He attended my presentation at Harvard, and he was so excited. So lunchtime, I was telling him that there is a problem when I write reports about the technology. Immediately, because it's Salesforce. When I send to my friends, they have no time to check. The only way that I have to be someplace to show them, and that is how it works. So he introduced to NCR. I don't know if you saw the lower part of that email that I read from Mike Minutes. He introduced me to NCR, which is one of the top schools. And they were so excited based on the recommendation. They invited me and we to take from Geneva to Fountain Group, but COVID hit that. So I would like to try something that you have. So we have also customized data that we can create, from a specific paragraph, a specific sentence, specific section, and all of that. But the paper that was the major focus for science was better came out with it because we remember the technology here. By the way, I didn't show you that since you may try this. You have to get into the just the search engine so already I am in the search engine, but you can put any words, and search engine like, let's see. Actually, Harvard Business, they wanted for the finance project, they got the list. We gave them, dumped into Excel and gave them. And you can get the entire population through, there is a system here called request form. You can get the entire population of data from there. But they are still thinking, since we are a small player, I guess they have to. Plus also these guys in our boards and they have a lot more resources, wine and dine. And I don't do that. It doesn't work very well. Okay, so you can see this is the, let me see. Okay. So for all the annual reports, 10K, you can see, you can get these metrics. Means one is the textual analysis, number of words, sentences, and reading index, and then all this list here. You can download all of it in one source here, right here. Download the distribution, download the analytics. So we give you 1 line of the data. If I have this in the classroom, I can look at maybe 10 years or 10 different companies and just cut and paste. So within 5 minutes, I have another ready. But if you want the entire population, then you can run it and keep access. That will take much time. So here is the cosine. Cosine and vector similarity. Actually, we have 3 methods. Remember that my mark in the green thing for balance sheet income statement where we have a value and the line item. We have also incorporated that since it was published. And so you can look at that too. So
you said that with that ID, the case if you ID, we can let people look at this.
Yeah, definitely call it. Yeah. What I'll do, I'll send you a little bit more description on what the things to do. Since I was there in our office and we were chatting about it, I told her, but I will send you that from another document to share that and so this one I'm showing you. So suppose here I select. Right now it is 10K. So it gave me 10K. Now if I do it like 5 subsequent 10K, the way it gives the metrics will be 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, because a lot of different combinations. So by default we have put continuity. But I want to have a fixed reference, then I have to do 1 and then 2, so 1 time a number. Then 1 and 3, 1 and 4, and so that's fixed reference. But all that can be done in a matter of seconds. And so in one hospital, we have all of that. But if that creates a problem, You said no, I'll go on. So this is, so it's fun. I'm doing it for fun. My wife wondered, why I'm doing all this. I said, this is fun. It's rather than sitting home and watch TV or something like that. I'm still, young and healthy, so why not? So I really appreciate all the effort and time you're giving to me. So thank you all very much, and I appreciate your help. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have to scoot, yeah.
Yeah. It's all right.
Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon.
Yeah, I would. Anybody come? Nobody's seen. You're saying okay.
I'll leave you, and I'll go through this option, and I'll leave you in the
Yeah.
It is important to you.
Yeah.
We can go. Yeah, we can go there. Okay. I'm going to be more prevention and after. And thank you. Thank you.
I'll see. It's very interesting. I will for sure go.
Yeah.
I'll see you upstairs.
Yeah.
I'll sit upstairs.
Good, thank you. Yeah.